Good morning. This morning we have woken up here on the south coast of Turkey.
And today, something a little different. We're going to talk about our beautiful van, Trudy.
In fact, we're going to tell you the 9 things we hate about Trudy.
Whoa! Hate's a bit strong.
We're Marion and Chris, and we've been travelling full-time since May 2018. We must be insane.
Whilst attempting to drive around the world in Trudy, our home on wheels, this happened.
All British travellers abroad are advised to return now.
As borders closed around us, we decided to wait it out in Turkey until we were able to continue our adventure east. Welcome to Turkey! After moving into our van in May 2018 and clocking up over 40,000 miles in Trudy, we definitely know the things that we don't like about her.
Yeah, we absolutely love her, but if we had a magic wand, there are definitely a few things that we would be waving.
It's true. Don't think that we don't love Trudy. You will know that we love our van, Trudy. She's an amazing van. But for those of you that are building a van, thinking of building a van, thinking of starting van life, the things that we hate about her may help you make a better decision. We're going to share those with you today.
Anyone interested in the life of Trudy, we bought her from Spinney in Crewe. She was £18,500. She's an Adria twin conversion. She had about 42 on the clock. Yeah.
And it's actually, the design is the same as your dad's old one.
Yeah.
It's actually a very good layout. But we're not talking about the positive today, we're talking about the negative.
All bad today.
And before you ask, no, we haven't got a dog. This is one of the local dogs that's been hanging out with us over the past couple of days.
He's mad as a box of frogs, he is. Aren't you?
He's got the scatty, I'm a puppy boxer head on. So the 9 things we're going to talk to you about today aren't in any particular order. They're not in a priority list or anything. There's just a list of things we don't like. We've jumped onto the bed. This is where we like to chill out in the evenings, and we watch a bit of Netflix in bed at the end of the day. But there's a few things that make that experience not so pleasant. You'll notice my head is on the screen at the back. That is because the window behind the bed is the only place that we can sit. We can't sleep this way because there's a shelf. So we watch Netflix here. But when we sit up in bed, we have to lean on the blind, which damages the blind. It's a little bit uncomfortable too. The perfect solution for us is we would have probably put some kind of window either in this side or made one up a bit higher and lose one of these cupboards.
Yeah, because even at night when we close this one, we have to lean on that one, and in the daytime, although we can actually raise this is still being put pressure on.
Yeah, and this window doesn't open anyway.
No.
Because the door opens on this side and you don't want to damage the window. Open the door when the window's open.
I have another problem. Some people think I wear headscarves as a fashion statement, but actually it sort of saves my head a bit. I'm sort of like wedged in here a little bit.
You need a crash helmet.
Yeah.
She's hit her head on this cupboard a lot of times.
I've said several times I would love to just take this cupboard back 6 inches to 8 inches just to be able to have a little bit more space. It feels quite claustrophobic in this area here.
I think if you've got a separate seating area, like a lounge area, then you don't really have to worry so much about that because you'll probably be hanging out or watching telly there. So coming in at number 2, the second thing we hate about Trudy is actually the toilet. Now you may think we're very lucky to have a toilet. Many vans don't have a toilet. I would definitely recommend having some kind of toilet. But our toilet works on a cassette system and it's quite hard to find somewhere to empty the cassette. If we had our way, we would upgrade this to a composting toilet, which lasts a lot longer. It's much easier to dispose of. We tend to take the cassette to public toilets, to tip in the wild. We do only do number ones in the toilet.
And we dig a hole.
But that's a whole nother story. But emptying it is not very discreet. You know, the cassettes are big, and we put them in a bag, carry them to a public toilet, and it's a bit of a palaver. Whereas if we had a small, the composting toilets have small little pull-out collectors that are much easier to go and tip in a hole, behind a bush, or in the loo. So I think I would upgrade this to a composting toilet.
Coming in at number 3 is the gas hob. Specifically, the width and the depth of where the gas rings sit is a real problem. So although there are 2 gas rings, it's nearly impossible to keep both pans on at the same time because they squash up against each other, which means the flames aren't even centrally in the pan. And in fact, we've had a couple of incidences where we've set fire to things in the van. Which isn't funny.
No. So you can see here, look, the pans, when you put them on, they don't really sit very well. This is also quite unstable,
yeah.
Whether we use the small frying pans or pots.
Things wobble. There's a lot of wobble.
And then what happens is the flames come up the side, and you can see we've got some burnt patches here. We have to be really careful that we don't push things all the way to the back because the flame comes out. We also smelt burning one night and realised that we'd actually melted the mosquito net with the heat coming through around the edge of the pan.
We thought we had a poltergeist in Trudy, but then we realised that it was...
It just doesn't sit flat, it wobbles.
Because it's just too small, it doesn't hold the pans.
And yes, we do have smaller pans and a small frying pan, but they still have the same problem. But to have it centrally on the ring, you see how unstable that is? And then you put the other one, it only just fits. And
yeah, we have a bit of a saucepan war.
We're parked perfectly flat at the moment. There are some times when we are not parked perfectly flat, and that is a problem. In fact, we've had instances where the whole pan has fallen off before. Spain?
Yeah, in fact, we found mushrooms in the door area for about 2 weeks afterwards.
We did. They went everywhere.
Up the walls.
We had a bit of an accident, didn't we, love?
I dropped the asparagus and the pan full of goodies, so
There's not much left. So if we could redo this, I would bring this a little bit forward so that there was space for the pans to sit on properly and not too close to this.
And I would definitely have a wider unit.
Yeah, so that the rings are further away from each other with a slightly more stable support. Coming in at number 4 is the lack of kitchen workspace. Although I do most of the food prep on the table around the seating area at the front of the van, or sometimes we put the table outside, when you're actually cooking, you need somewhere to put your stirring utensils, some sauces, your salt and pepper for seasoning. So this area really is too small. What we would do as a solution, this actually folds down like this. If we were rebuilding it, we would make this either longer and move the fire extinguisher so it came up onto another bracket here, or put it here so it folds up onto a bracket either side. And then we would have the whole of this area here to work on, which would be perfect. You may know that I am 6'3" tall, which I think is about 1.88 m. You can see that I can't stand up in the van. So the 5th thing we hate about Trudy, or I hate, is the fact that I can't stand up fully. Now, I've actually got a bit of a crick neck today. I had a bad back a couple of weeks ago, and with all the lockdown weekends and having to stay in the van, even during rainy weather and non-COVID times, being able to stand up makes a huge difference. The only place that I can really stand up is here, because I can put my head in the roof hatch. There isn't really an easy solution for that, apart from making me shorter or making the van taller, both of which aren't options. So I would definitely recommend making sure that you are able to stand up in the vehicle that you buy. Staying with the theme of height, coming in at number 6 is the front passenger seat. As you know, Marianne does most of the driving. I spend a lot of time here filming, but I can't actually sit up straight on this chair because it is too high. And that's another reason why I have a crick neck. And when I look out of the window, I have to duck so that I can see out. And what makes it worse is that because I'm so high, the windscreen wipers don't go the whole way up the windscreen. So when it's raining, I can't see out the front window. So here you go. If you put the stick on the passenger seat and run it across, you can see how much taller the seat is. The solution would be, this one is obviously a different design, it's higher. We can probably get it adapted and maybe welded and cut down, or get a new seat, but it is a little bit of a pain. If I sit in the driver's seat, I'm fine. Maybe I should do more driving.
My van.
Coming in at number 7 is lack of airflow. Although Trudy has lots of windows all the way around the van and 2 roof hatches, what she really lacks is having a fan in the ceiling to help draw and circulate that air through her. We know when we were in Antalya last summer in August, it reached a whopping 42 degrees outside, and inside the van, even though all the windows were open, we melted. It was a bit tough last night. Whew. Marianne's got a fan going there. We got another USB fan here. I've got another one by the side of the bed there, but we got another fan by the roof. This one's good for drawing in the cold air. So if you're building a van, designing a van, I would definitely plan to have a roof hatch with an air extractor.
Coming in at number 8 is the thing that drives me wild, and it's the storage area underneath this kitchen unit. Oh! The kitchen area is actually quite narrow, so instead of having very helpful drawers that come out so you can see from above what's in there, instead there are cupboard doors, and then you have to try and get in to see what's in the cupboard. Now I found a solution of putting buckets in and storing things that we don't, you know, are easy to grab. But I'm not gonna lie, we found a few things in there that have grown. Because when you put them in there, sometimes they just get there, they're lost forever. So yes, I would definitely, if I could, put drawers in so that you can see what's in it rather than rummaging around.
Absolutely, and that's the same.
Yeah,
that's the same in this side as well. You can
We've
see
got
like everything's crammed in there.
Tupperware and stuff shoved in the top and the grater, and then we've got a bucket down there with our plastic bags and cleaning chemicals.
So we've kind of made a bit of a drawer
liquid,
with that anyway, but
yeah,
it's not ideal, is it?
It's not ideal and it's not helpful. And another reason why you'd probably get a bad back in a van.
Last but no means least, coming in at number 9 is the amount of power we have in Trudy. So when we bought her, we put in 2 new 110 amp leisure batteries down there, and we'd lock down weekends charging the computers, the cameras, all the batteries and everything else. It runs out after being parked up for a couple of cloudy days. So if you are designing your van, make sure you consider what kind of electric usage you will be having and put enough power in accordingly. Also consider how you're going to charge them. If you've got solar panels, then you need to make sure you've got enough solar panels to charge the amount of batteries that you have. We solved our power problems by getting a lithium power bank, which is marvelous and has solved our problem. But there'll be more of that in a future episode when we talk about our essential van life items. We hope you found this video helpful for all of those budding van lifers out there, or those of you that are building vans. If you did like it, please consider clicking the subscription button and hitting that notification bell, and we will see you on the next episode.